So will we really see the dawn of a new chapter in U.S.-China relations? Joining us for more on this is Anne Lee, author of What the U.S. Can Learn from China and adjunct professor of economics and finance at New York University. And thanks so much for joining us. We've seen some thorny issues come up, from cybersecurity to trade. What have been the most contentious points both for the U.S. and for China?
From an economic standpoint, we are quite familiar with the issues of currency because the U.S. have often accused China of keeping the currency too low. And then obviously trade and investment are also thorny issues. In the past, China has been the recipient of a lot of foreign direct investment, but lately the trend is reversing. So China is now investing in a lot of other countries, as we've seen in Africa and Latin America. And China has been trying to invest in the U.S., but there have been a number of high-profile cases where their investments have been blocked. And the most recent one is the Smithfield pork acquisition, where
still under review.
Under review, but clearly there's political pressure from opinion polls basically saying that, a lot of Americans oppose the acquisition on security issues, which for a lot of folks who understand what's really going on find it truly ludicrous, because they find that there is no security issue here, but it's more political. And so I think this is an area where the Chinese really want to address with the United States, because if you don't have open investments where both sides are trying to play by the rules and there are no security issues involved, and yet they are still being blocked, then that becomes a real barrier to good relations. And economic relations has been underpinning the real relationship between U.S. and China.
Right, so both sides came into this with a couple of contentious points on their own. As the dialogue wraps up, where do you think we're likely to see the most breakthrough? Which areas can we foresee being resolved in the not too distant future?
I would suspect that it's probably an area of clean technology, because Obama has made a lot of public comments that this is an area he cares about, that we have to be responsible about climate change and carbon reductions. The Chinese have also said the same thing, and in fact, China has made a lot of investments into alternative energy. They're the leader in wind technology investments, as well as in solar, as many people know. And I feel that this could be a low-hanging fruit where research and joint development and joint ventures can happen without too much establishment interest trying to block things.
Both of the countries have said that they have an intention for a bilateral investment agreement. That's a pretty big coup, isn't it?
It would be if it happens. Unfortunately, I think there's so much political constipation in Washington that I don't see that happening anytime soon. Anytime someone mentions the word China, it evokes emotional responses from people that...
Even when it comes to bilateral investments?
Absolutely. It's been associated with things as far as human rights and other areas that have nothing to do with investments. So this gets muddied, and it makes it difficult to have real logical negotiations around these things. But I suspect that because the United States needs to create a lot of new jobs, China also needs that imperative as well, that hopefully they can find areas where they can do that.
Okay, so still a long way to go in terms of some concrete progress. That's Anne Lee, author of What the U.S. Can Learn from China.